Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Board, and I am the Associate Director for Student Auxiliary Services Operations. And I work with Housing and Residential Life. And today we have a presentation on our new first-year residential experience. And if you come across any questions or have any concerns that you would like addressed, feel free to utilize the chat box in Zoom, and we will get your questions answered either throughout the presentation or we have some time for some Q&A with my co-host today. And so with every presentation we do in housing, I like to start off with a piece of our mission statement because housing and residential life on campus at Wayne State is so much more than just a place for you to stay. We really work to foster student learning and your success during your time here at Wayne State in a safe, comfortable, and convenient residence hall or apartment environment where you're with other students who have a common purpose here. And with that, I would like to introduce one of our first co-hosts, Rodrina Moore.
Good evening. My name is Rodrina Moore. I am the Associate Director for Residence Life. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I oversee student staff selection, training, and recruitment. And I've been at Wayne State for a little over a year and a half.
And then also we have Nikki Dunham.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nikki. I use she, her pronouns. I am the Director of Residence Life here at Wayne State.
All right.
So as Nick mentioned, we are really excited to chat with you all today about the first year residential experience community. This is a new community that is forming on campus for the fall of 2021, and it will be hosted in Chatsworth Suites, which is our newly renovated suite style building on campus. We'll talk a little bit more about what Chatsworth has to offer in a couple minutes here. But Fyre specifically offers all of you as first year students the opportunity to live in a building with other first year students where you can have additional support while navigating your first year of college. We know that that can be a big transition for you and want to support you not only in your transition to Wayne State, but also finding out what it means to be a Wayne State warrior and finding a sense of belonging on this campus. There are many peer staff members and resources available for support in Chatsworth Suites in the Fyre community. We also provide resources for emergencies and also engagement and fun. We want you to have a good time while you live with us as well. We are planning on having satellite hours for various campus offices right there in your home in Chatsworth Suites. So that will make it so much easier for you to access support and also ask questions. You won't have to navigate on campus to try to find different resources. They'll be right there for you. There will be also exclusive programming and support to help you as a first year student really jumpstart your college experience. So getting more connected to those campus resources, but also getting more connected to the campus in general and to your peers that live with you in Chatsworth or live with you on campus. We will also be having a number of the first year seminar courses available only for Fyre community members. So you'll get to not only see those students in class with you, but also in your building. You'll also have some personalized in-hall academic advising opportunities as well. So again, instead of going to a different office or trying to find your advisor someplace else on campus, you'll be able to access your advisor right there in your home. And one of the great perks about living in Fyre for its first year is that you will truly be able to shape the community for years to come.
So what will you experience while living in the Fyre community? Well, there will be our staff in there. So you'll have a community director. You'll have some resident advisors in there. They program and make sure that you're engaged for the semester. Like Nikki mentioned a little bit earlier, there'll be satellite hours for campus partners and different campus offices. So we're going to bring a lot of people to you so that you can connect easier than maybe living in a traditional building. So there is additional exclusive programming and support for first year students to also help you jumpstart your career at Wayne State. We'll have some personalized in-hall academic advising opportunities. And this year will be the first cohort. So you'll get to meet some cool people who will also be living in the building and will show some support and bring a sense of belongingness to this building.
All right, so I mentioned earlier that this will be hosted in the new Chatsworth Suites. There are lots of different options in Chatsworth Suites for what type of room you might like to live in. There are both 4-person and 6-person suite options. So in each of those suites, you'll have a shared bathroom with your roommates, and then the bedrooms are also shared. Every floor in Chatsworth Suites also has a community kitchen on the floor that has all of the regular amenities of a kitchen. So you'll be able to cook food and maybe share that with some of the folks that you live with. There are also alternating lounge styles by floor in Chatsworth Suites. So on every other floor, there's either a study lounge, which has a door that can be closed, or a lounge that you might use for more social gatherings that has a open space out into the hallway. There are lots of other standard amenities in Fyre as well. These are amenities that exist in all of our buildings across campus in case you're considering other communities as well. There will be a 24-hour front desk and security station. So those are staffed 24/7, 365 to keep you safe and to make sure that only people who are supposed to be entering the building are getting in. They also do things at the front desk like check in any guests that you want to bring into the building. They will check your packages if those are delivered by the mail or by a delivery person. And they're just a great resource for learning how to navigate campus at Wayne State. Also, there are seminar rooms and lounges, as I mentioned before. These seminar rooms are set up a little bit more to have some interaction with the folks that you're sharing the space with. So there's whiteboards in there, TVs, etc. And then there's also large lounges on the first floor of Chatsworth. There is elevator access to the entire building as well, and that's controlled by card access. So if you live there, you will have exclusive access to those elevators. And there's also a full-time community director that lives in Chatsworth Suites. And that is, again, a full-time master's level professional who supervises the resident advisors and just oversees the general operations of the building. Chatsworth Suites also has a number of guest housing units on the first floor. However, those are in a wing that is a little bit off of where residents would access the front desk and lounges and things like that. So that is card access only to all of the guest housing there. So we have a number of special interest communities that are also housed in Chatsworth Suites for next year. You may have heard about our different living learning community options on campus. The following living learning communities will be housed in Chatsworth Suites and again are exclusive for first year students. Those include the Warrior Business Learning Community, Sustainability, which is new for this year, Healthy Living, which is also new for this year, the Global Living Learning Community, the Warrior VIP Living Learning Community, and also the Living Learning Community for the Honors College at Wayne State as well. You would be able to note that you're interested in a living learning community on your housing application. There's some additional questions that you would have to answer in your housing application if you're interested in one of these special communities, but you would still be housed in the Fyre community and would have access to all of those great things that we've described so far. So the big question is, does it cost more? And the answer is no. The Chatsworth Suites costs are all outlined on our website. There's no additional cost to you to be able to access this great opportunity to build community on campus at Wayne State. So it's a pretty great opportunity that we think that you should take advantage of. We would love to have you join us.
Why should I live in Fyre? Fyre was created with first year students in mind, and so we have a plan specifically for you. So We've thought of all of the things we think. We thought about you building relationships with other people that are similar to you. They'll be first year students just like you. We foresee some friendships being made, some community being built. Like we said, we have our staff in there, and they will be programming with around things that we believe first year students need. There will be some learning. We'll have some academic advisors and other campus partners join us. We'll be supporting our homecoming and the football team and our other athletic teams on campus, so that you can engage and have a sense of warrior pride. There are several opportunities to connect with your peers, connect with the RAs, connect with the community directors, and learn new things. We also hire first year students to work at our front desk. So that's another opportunity for you to engage and get involved and active with the housing and residential life. So we're going to bring the fun. We hope that you would join us and participate in some of this community building and finding a sense of belonging in the Fyre community.
All right, so now we know that you want to live in Fyre and Chatsworth Suites. So here is how you select living in the community. You will note your interest on the housing application. So when you go in to sign the housing license agreement, there will be a box that you check that indicates that you are interested in this community. We will then follow up with you before your self-selection process starts to let you know how to select the community officially. Then we'll also have some additional information to share with you about that special FYS 1010 course that you will register for. If you are a first year student who also selects to live in an LLC, you will also be placed into Chatsworth and will be in that community. It's possible that the coordinator for the LLC will need to follow up with you separately as well. So if you do participate in room change, because there is an opportunity for all of our students to switch around rooms on campus. If you choose a room that is outside of Chatsworth Suites, that will then remove you from the Fyre community. So keep that in mind if you're participating in that process. And don't forget that the $125 non-refundable application fee is required to complete the application. So all of that being said, we hope that you will choose to live with us on campus and in the Fyre community as a first year student.
Thanks, Nikki and Rodrina. Now we want to open up the floor to some of the questions that have come in. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get them answered for you. So the first one is, are there any COVID protocols? And if so, can you explain what those are?
Sure. So we are still working on what fall 2021 is going to look like on campus. You can check the Wayne State website for a lot of different updates from across the university. We work really closely with the Health Policy Committee to determine what protocols will be in place, and we're expecting to continue that throughout the summer. Right now, what our protocols are all students are required to wear a mask outside of their assigned room. So if they are not in their room, specifically in hallways and elevators, et cetera, they need to be wearing a mask. Currently, our guest policy is suspended. So that means that no guests are allowed in the buildings. Again, we're doing this because there are certain protocols that are active for students that live with us on campus. And when we invite outside guests in, that could put our community at risk. We are also limiting the number of people that can be in elevators. So currently that's limited to 2 students at a time in an elevator. We know that that's a small enclosed space. We are still practicing social distancing and mask wearing in all of our social lounges as well. But that is a place where you would be able to gather with community members.
Thanks, Nikki. And then where is the Creative Warriors Living Learning Community available and located?
The Creative Warriors Living Learning Community is moving back to the Thompson home this year. So it should be available for the fall of 2021. And you would just, again, indicate your interest in that community on your housing application.
All right. And then there's a question if some single rooms are available for the Fyre community. Unfortunately, Chatsworth Suites does not have any single rooms available at this time. Most of the rooms are or suites are for 4 or 6 people. However, those rooms are very spacious and offer great common space as well as multiple bathroom facilities in each unit. So there's definitely room to space out within there. And then another question coming in is, what are the dining hall options available in or around Chatsworth?
So we have our main cafeteria in Towers Cafe, which is located in Towers Residential Suites. And we also have Golden Greens that is connected to Ghaffari and Atchison. That's an option. We have plenty of options in the campus center. We have a Starbucks, we have a Dunkin' Donuts. We have various options that are close to Chatsworth Suites.
And I think one thing also adding on to what Rodrina just said, that Chatsworth Suites is right in the middle, in the heart of main campus, and just steps from your front door are both of those dining halls, as well as even shorter walk to the student center where there's that food court. So things are definitely close. And then what other housing options are available for first-year students if they don't choose to live in the Fyre community?
First-year students can live in Towers Residential Suites, Anthony Wayne Drive Apartments. But we hope after this experience today that you would join us in the Fyre community. But you are welcome to live wherever you would like on campus.
And then question coming into is, will COVID vaccines be required in student housing?
Great question. I see that came in from David. Again, we are still following the recommendations of the University Health Policy Committee, and there has been no decision made yet on whether or not vaccines will be required for campus.
Awesome. And then, so the question coming in on how close Chatsworth is to the engineering classes, and that all depends on the type of engineering program you are in. But as a first-year student, most of your core classes will be in a lot of the general purpose classrooms, which are no more than a 5-minute walk from Chatsworth's front door. But as you progress in your career as an undergraduate student, there are other engineering facilities that are a bit longer walk, but that's not really a big concern as a first-year student. And then there was another question, and Nikki, if you just want to share again how someone might apply for the Fyre program.
Sure. Hi, Taylor. So you will just note on your housing application that you are interested in living in the first-year residential experience community. There's no additional application that's required.
So those look like all of the questions that have come in this far. Oh, and I say that, and another one came in. David also just asked if you can join a living learning community after your first semester or first year.
Absolutely. If there is space available in any of the living learning communities, you would be able to contact either the LLC coordinator for information on whether or not there is some open space, or you can always email housing@wayne.edu and we'll get you connected to the right folks.
Awesome. And then Monica just asked, is there parking available for live-on students? And the answer is yes. We do not restrict our parking facilities for residential students to upperclassmen. You will have to have a parking permit, which is an additional cost through the Parking and Transportation Services Office. And you would have to have a permit in either structures 1, 2, or 8. And then another question coming in, are there meal plans available with any housing building, or are they restricted to certain ones? And so our meal plans are available to all students, whether they're commuter or residential students. There are some, if you are a residential first-year student, you are restricted to a few meal plans, which you can learn more at housing.wayne.edu. And under Live With Us, there's meal plans, and it will explain what ones are available and restricted to certain buildings. And there's a question from Leslie asking if there's a deadline for application in Fyre.
No, there's not a deadline for an application for Fyre. I would recommend that you get your application in sooner than later, but we're accepting applications on a rolling basis.
And then if a student is accepted or welcomed into the Fyre community, is there a particular way they can expect to be notified, or does it just happen?
So you're likely to be notified probably within a couple of weeks of your completed application. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the end of next week or maybe the week after is when the self-selection process starts. And we are planning on following up with all of the students who have indicated that they are interested in the Fyre community within the next couple of weeks here before that process starts. And then if you decide to apply through the summer, we're likely to contact you pretty much right away after you submit your application and tell us that you would like to come and live with us in Fyre.
Yep. And so to build on what Nikki just shared, our self-selection process opens for first-year incoming students on May 10th. You should receive, if you've already applied, your selection date and time sometime next week, as well as some detailed instructions. If you have already indicated you are interested in Fyre, we will send you some more information just to make sure that you select the right space. Also, if you had answered some questions to be a part of a living learning community, we expect to have some of those placements made before self-selection opens. So you will see that you're assigned in Chatsworth or wherever that LLC is. And if you want to move somewhere else, you are welcome in that change period to select a different space on campus. If you do select a space outside of Chatsworth, you will no longer be a part of the Fyre community though. And then we're gonna answer one or two more questions here before we wrap up. And so there's a question wondering about the percentage of students that live on campus. And so traditionally, about 10% of our incoming first-year class lives with us on campus. But with COVID, our projections on that are kind of hard to make at this time. But we do know that we have capacity for about 4,000 students across all of our housing buildings. And we typically have between 12 and 16,000 underclassmen registered in the fall semester. So hopefully those numbers can help you there. And then question around some roommates, and if two friends and I are coming to Wayne State together, can we live together, or how do you choose who you live with? And so that I think will probably be one of our last questions here, but you select the same room in your room selection period as a first-year student. And so whoever has the earliest selection time, you want to go ahead and select the room that has capacity, and then go ahead and share that room number with your friends who you want to live with you. And if changes need to be made, we just really encourage you to be in contact with one another. That way you can all change to the same room type if that is what you desire. Also, we have launched, along with orientation this year, a Living on Campus 101 course that you can learn more about in your orientation session that does have a section or discussion board area to help you find roommates in any of the housing buildings. And also, if you've already registered for an orientation session, you are able to access that course by logging in with your access ID and password at canvas.wayne.edu. So with that, I want to take a moment and thank everyone for joining us today. This event or this webinar has been recorded and will be available at housing.wayne.edu/events within the next 48 hours for you to view and share out with anyone who may have missed it. So once again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you stay with us this fall.